That's right, guys. It's my birthday. Thanks for being here. How are we doing tonight? Huh? Great show? Good stuff, guys. Yeah, it is my birthday today. And every year, my grandma, she'll text me, what do you want for your birthday? I waste no time, cash, every time. I know what I want, And every year, without fail, she'll get me a gift card. Which in her mind is the same thing. But I'll tell you why it's not, guys. I asked for cash because I was being polite, I would have asked for pot, if I had my choice. But I was going out of my way, taking that extra step by asking for cash, And it's like, guess who's not going to sell me pot, Grandma? Burlington Coat Factory. Really screwed on that gift card front. Yeah, guys, but I think pot's great. I think recreationally, sure, but I think everyone should be able to get on board with medical marijuana. I think it's a good thing, helps people out. I grew up in Illinois. When they legalized medical marijuana, the NRA wasted no time. They're like, we think medical marijuana card owners shouldn't be able to buy guns. And I was like, that is such a weird stance for the NRA to take, to put any restriction on anyone buying a gun. And I think the point's kind of moot, I think if I went in for my medical marijuana card and they're like, hey, by the way, you can't buy guns, I'd be like, okay, can I still have Hawaiian Punch and Mario Kart? And they're like, yeah. And I'd be like, oh, cool, yeah, let's do it. Let's go through with it. I'd maybe even argue the opposite point. I think that if you go into a gun store, order off the gun menu, I think legally someone behind the counter should be like, hey, would you like some medical marijuana? You're showing signs of a stress disorder. So, could be helpful in your given situation. I would take a step further. I'd say, some states have a 3-day down period if you want to get a gun. I would suggest a 3-day smoking period. I think that would be nice. You have to take off work and just smoke all day, Day 3 rolls around, you're just full on spaghetti, and probably forgot about that gun you ordered. So, did you even really want it at that point, maybe a step further, I think if you're a 16-year-old trying to buy pot, you can do it. Anyone can do it, It's just, you gotta want it, and it's weird, right? There's all these validation checks. I think that's how buying guns should be. I think if you want to buy a gun, you should have to call someone who calls someone who calls this 31-year-old dude named Travis. Travis picks you up in his Oldsmobile, and thus begins the gun buying process. I think that's how it should be done. I think you should you should show some random guy that you're cool to get a gun. So you got to prove it to him if you want your gun. You're riding around, you're listening to 311, hitting apple bongs, okay? You're feeling good. You're feeling good, guys. And he's asking you, important questions like, who are the hot girls in high school this year? And you're like, some bitch named Crystal. You're gonna say that every time, every year. And it's he's asking you hard stuff like, who's your favorite 311 member? And I'm like, oh, I got this. And then you're like, oh, you named the bassist from Sublime. Strike one. No. Or maybe you don't have the lighter, the thing pried off on the lighter to make the flame go higher. Strike two, You might never get that shotgun at this rate. But it's like I was saying, guys, you're smoking with Travis. And once you're really high, you probably don't even want that gun, right? Once amber truly becomes the color of your energy. But in the situation that I've painted, Travis, the high school pot dealer, will sell you a gun. And he's going to sell it to you, high school style, right? You got to have cash up front, maybe check if he's a weirdo, or maybe a gift card from Burlington Coat Factory, if you catch him on a due day. Guys, I got peer pressured into making a pretty frivolous purchase recently. I bought a pot jar. You guys where are my pot jar folks at? That's good. Oh, this table, hell yeah. Nice, man, they got big jars over there. I had a buddy come over and he saw my Ziploc bag of pot and he's like, you keep your weed in a Ziploc bag? What are you in junior high? And I'm like, First of all, I mean, that's how it comes. And second of all, I didn't buy weed in junior high. That's like a ridiculous comparison. And it's, why do you need a jar, right? I don't go out, buy eggs from the market, come home, put it in my special jar for eggs. You know? Who's that level of enthusiast, you know, about it? But I went ahead and I bought one, right? I was looking through it and I saw an Einstein one. And I'm like, okay, this is fine because it shows I'm an intellectual, right? I'm not a stoner, I'm an intellectual. So I ordered the Einstein jar and they send me a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon jar. Which I understand, they're sending those out every other, you know. And but it was pretty cool. And I just kept it, I liked it enough. And then after a couple days, I realized, oh, they just send Pink Floyd jars to everyone, right? That's their business model. They just know the receiving end. They know everyone's going to be like, oh, cool, Pink Floyd, nice. Just as good as what I ordered. I think that's a great business model. Like, I would love to just be able to rip people off, but know them well enough. Like, I'm going to make a website. We just sell marijuana online. You can blatantly buy pot on the internet. And then regardless of what you buy, I just send you a 12-pack of fruit roll-ups. Everyone on the receiving end's like, this is pretty cool, honestly. I'm not going to call the cops. You know, maybe like a website, we sell Make America Great Again hats, you know? And then I just send you a tiny wallet-sized photo of Ted Nugent. And you're like, oh, this is excellent. Sweaty Teddy right there in my wallet. Maybe like a website, we sell mustache wax, mustache grooming tools, those kind of things, you know? And then I just send you a statistic about whales dying. And you're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm never going to shut the fuck up about this. I'm going to use this in every conversation till the end of time. I started dating someone recently, guys. Yep, you can applaud for that. Thanks. Yeah, so I met her in Madison, but she lives in Iowa, so it's like kind of an odd long distance thing. And she was visiting about a month ago, and it was still like in the early stages. I was in boyfriend-ish territory. And she comes to visit, and on her way back to Iowa, she flips her car on the interstate. And it's like, whoa. So I get an emergency call. I'm like, oh, I gotta get down there. I leave work, you know. Like, very hectic stuff for a new boyfriend. And so I pull up on the scene, and they have half the highway blocked off, and the officer is like, you must be the boyfriend. And I'm like, did she say that? You know? And I'm like, well, is it serious? And he's like, yeah, I mean, the car's totaled for sure. And I'm like, no, how did she say boyfriend, you know? Like, did she hit her head? Is she calling everyone her boyfriend? I need to know these details. And so yeah, I pick her up, you know, her car's totaled. The paramedics are checking her out. And then I go to drop her bags off in my apartment, and she's calling her parents. And then I realize, oh, I have to meet her parents now because of this, which is level 3 boyfriend stuff. And I'm not really prepared for that. So I drop her bags off, we go to the hospital, you know, and everyone's like, who are you? I'm like, the boyfriend, I guess, you know, like everyone's concerned with our relationship. And at one point when she's filling out paperwork, I get lost, can't find her, you know, and then I'm going through all these things. They're like, who are you looking for? I'm like, my girlfriend, you guys. And they're like, we need a name. And I'm like, sorry, I'm new to this. So I find her. I have to keep explaining that I'm the boyfriend. I get to her room, and one of the nurses is like, who are you? I'm like, I'm the boyfriend. And she goes, how long? And I'm like, what? What kind of qualifying question is that, you know? I'm like, 5-6 inches, but she's cool with that. She's fine with that. But yeah, so it's a runaround, big runaround, and I'm in the room, and all of a sudden, like a guy in black comes in. I'm like, whose boyfriend is this, you know? And turns out he was the chaplain, man of faith. And he starts talking to me after she gets taken out of the room, and he's like, you know, this isn't your fault. All that stuff, and I'm like, I know, this is God's fault. Maybe Pontiac's cheap engineering, I don't know, you know? And he was a nice enough guy, you know, she ended up being okay. But it was like such a life-changing experience because it's like we became a lot more serious as a result of this. And I was dropping her off to her dad, and I was like, I know this might sound like inappropriate or whatever, but I'm like, I'm actually kind of glad that I cut the brakes on your car. Yeah, she's here tonight. That's the first time she heard that joke. All right, thanks guys, that's my time.